As well as can be. I was just over at Seeds of Hope. Seeds of Hope had a meeting, so I'm thinking about helping them too. Seeds of Hope, yeah. Committee, board, on the board. Yeah. My wife was on it. My wife used to be president. Yeah, Isabel Gibson was on there, and she talked to Mary Ann, and Mary Ann got on there, and so. Oh yeah. He local. Yeah. Me and my brothers, we went to Kentucky. We went to the art, what do they call that experience? So Noah Art. It's in Kentucky. We flew into Cincinnati. It's right on the border, Cincinnati and Kentucky. And me, my brother Warren, Clarence, Junior, Michael, we all went for that experience. The Noah's Ark is unbelievable. And then the next day we went to the Creation Museum, which is by the same person. We were there, 2 weeks ago. Yeah, weekend. Yeah. Yeah.
Session. So Larry, I believe we have Bob Huddleston on the line, and I know Councilmember Romo and Dugan are not going to be here today, so we'll go ahead and start.
That is right, Madam Mayor, members of the council. Thank you for the opportunity to begin a bit of an overview on the topics, primarily of effluent, but I thought it would be wise in doing so to speak just briefly about some of the current landscape that's transpiring within our water topic as well. As the mayor and council knows, for the past 7, 8, 9 years now, the Casa Grande and practically every service provider, as well as every municipality, has been attempting to deal with the Pinal AMA water model. And there's been a number of strategies that have been deployed both on the waterfront as well as on the effluent front over the same amount of time. But in the last year and a half, there's been some additional changes that have happened on the waterfront that will undoubtedly have an impact on the effluent side. And so I thought, rather than try to bring both of those topics to the mayor and council in one particular study session, and it may be a bit overwhelming, so what we are working on is a series of study sessions, likely 4 or 5 of those, to cover 2 topics, where we will take a small component of that and really update the mayor and council and the community specifically, as well as attempt to allow for some level of education and learning and information that is being transcended with each one of those sessions. Tonight, we will focus primarily on our current state, our current status of effluent in Casa Grande and at our water reclamation facility. But if I can, just for a brief moment, give the council a bit of what I anticipate covering tonight. I'll talk briefly about the landscape of the water resources in Casa Grande, and more specifically, some of the most recent changes that have been underway after this last legislative session. I'll talk a bit about, I'll present on the current state and use of the treated effluent for the city of Casa Grande, a bit of allocation that is transpiring today, as well as some of the asks that have been made of the city in the recent months. I will outline what I believe the overall goal in development of an effluent strategy might be, and then just outline a bit of the next steps for the council. But as usual, if you have any questions along the way, please don't hesitate to stop and pause and answer the questions, so I can answer the questions. If I can just spend just a few minutes talking specifically about water, and I think it's important for our community to understand that the landscape has changed with really what were a couple of key and pivotal bills that we were successful at seeing transpire in this last legislative session. The first is that there's new rules and programs known as the Alternative Designation of Assured Water Supply Program. It really will change the complexion of how development occurs within the space of water. And I anticipate asking our partners at Arizona Water Company to come to a meeting in early of the calendar year to begin to give the mayor and council and the community a bit of an update on that particular program. It is something that is new, as I mentioned, and there are a number of rules and programmatic components that are being designed today. So probably a bit premature to spend a lot of time today going through that, but certainly something that you can anticipate in this series of study sessions. It will be a change from the certificate-based program that we see today, meaning that each individual subdivided lot needs an actual certificate. An alternative designation of assured water supply functions more like a designation, and ultimately allocates water to specific projects versus to a specific lot. One of the other key elements and changes in the statutes this last year on the waterfront is a ag to urban legislation. Again, I anticipate providing the mayor and council with more details on that particular topic, but essentially what it allows the property owner to do if they are using the property for agricultural purposes is to convert the water that was being allocated to agriculture specifically to development. And so, but certainly is a key component of the future of Casa Grande. The mayor and council is also aware of the water availability fee tariff that Arizona Water has filed with the Arizona Corporation Commission. That was recently filed, and so there's obviously a review time and a process that must be considered by the Arizona Corporation Commission, the ACC, in that. But ultimately, what it looks to do is requires individual developers to bring new water to Casa Grande for development. So it will have some bearing on a variety of development projects in the future. And I did not add this on the PowerPoint, but wanted just to mention to the mayor and council that as all of this is going on, the community should be aware of the fact that the city continues to work diligently with the Arizona Department of Water Resources on our city's amended designation of assured water supply, which for those that do not know, the city owns a small water company that's outside of the city limits, ultimately has its own designation, and the intent of that is to serve development, primarily the Copper Mountain Ranch development in the north side of our town. That application has been in process, as the mayor and council is aware, for approximately 3 years now. We did file a response to the most recent delinquency, but we feel like there's a positive tone in that dialogue that's transpiring, and that will become part of the component. And you'll see even tonight some of the allocation commitments that have been made by the city specifically for that particular designation. So if I can just start with treated effluent. I know that there's a couple of different terminologies that get used from time to time related to treated effluent. It's also called reclaimed water, recycled water, or treated wastewater. We all know it's a valuable resource, and ultimately what brings the value is the reliability, the cost effectiveness, and its ability to extend groundwater supplies. The alternative designation of assured water supply ultimately points to effluent as a key component of those particular programs, and I have no doubt, and I think the timing of developing this effluent strategy is perfect, because as we continue to see growth in the community, we will have multiple user types that will very likely be approaching us related to our effluent. And then lastly, I would just say that treated effluent also supports direct and indirect potable reuse. And we have a couple of examples of that I'll outline for everybody here in a bit, but typically they're for turf irrigation and industrial processes. And I think the council is aware of well, you likely recall the fact that 5 years ago, when we were dealing with the Pinal AMA model issue, one of the goals that we had is to build a reuse line on the west side of town specifically for industrial reuse. That line has been constructed on Bianco Road, making the effluent available for industrial types of development. Typically what you find is that they're going to use it for their cooling towers, and it is, because we treat at an A+ quality, there's additional uses that can transpire with the level of, because of the standard that we've treated to. A bit about our water reclamation facility. I know the council is well aware of this. We've allocated a fair number of resources these last several years to the infrastructure and the expansion of this particular facility. But currently, we are nearing the completion of a project that ultimately will take the capacity to 18 million gallons per day. And as I said earlier, it's treated at A+ quality water standards, which is the highest quality standard for reclaimed water in Arizona. From this water reclamation facility, we actually provide effluent to the Dave White Municipal Golf Course. I'll talk a little more about the volumes and the quantities that we are allocating today, as well as to Desert Basin Generation Station, where the power plant actually is utilizing the treated effluent for the purposes of cooling their various towers and boilers and the like. And I guess one other important component, and I'm going to cover this in a little more detail here in a second, is that we also have a managed recharge facility. The north branch of the Santa Cruz Wash ultimately is utilized as a managed recharge facility. We have a permit for that particular discharge, and we are accruing long-term storage credits, which become yet just another component to the overall strategy and will become part of the component of the allocation in the future as well. Just building on the managed recharge facility, you'll see that ultimately, and I've got a slide here in a second that gives you more of a pictorial view of everything that I've just described. But ultimately, our permit is up to a volume of 3,500 acre feet of recharge. There's a variety of elements that go with that. I'll cover that here in a bit, in a bit when I cover that particular topic. But ultimately, as the effluent is treated and discharged, we are generating long-term storage credits specifically through that managed recharge facility. The key to that is that ultimately those long-term storage credits can be utilized for an assured water supply. They can be allocated to that, and I'll outline a couple of examples for the council in just a few minutes here. But the city, as I had mentioned a minute ago, the unique thing about these managed recharge facilities is that because it is a wash, and because there are other types of volumes such as stormwater water, for example, some of the irrigation districts, neighboring irrigation districts, actually utilize that particular wash as a discharge point. Anytime there's any stormwater, anytime there's any type of what considered to be an upstream contribution, ultimately the city of Casa Grande does not generate any type of long-term storage credits during those times when we're seeing other types of flows going through the wash. And so it really is a key component to what I would consider to be the need for us to establish a broader strategy related to recharge, perhaps building recharge facilities in other locations that are constructed versus managed. That way those particular volumes are not impacted by other types of flows. But as you might imagine with ADWR, there is a calculation that actually gets done in establishing what type of credits are accrued. This next slide is really just a pictorial of everything that I just described related to the water reclamation facility and our recharge facility. You'll see the various the wash itself. You'll see where the discharge point is, and ultimately where our monitoring wells and the like. But in this segment of the wash itself is actually the permitted element, and is where those flows are calculated for long-term storage credits. You also see the proximity to our current our water reclamation facility. You see the Dave White Municipal Golf Course, which is currently a customer, as well as the Desert Basin Generation Station, which is a customer. These particular volumes are very, very key, and in fact, I believe that they will become very used as the mayor and council begins to talk about the allocation type and our approach to our allocation strategy. These numbers were actually calculated and finalized for 2024, but what you'll see is that at our plant we processed 6,301 acre feet of actual effluent that was processed within that plant. We delivered 4,385 acre feet to the wash. Of that, the amount recharged was 3,033 acre feet. Again, that's the amount that ultimately we were given credit for. And a key element, and I want to really bring this next particular volume in to light, is the amount discharged not recharged. We had 1,351,000 acre feet of effluent that did not get recharged or reused. In my mind, as we build our strategy and we look to allocate our effluent, the key is to lessen this amount the best that we can Yes, sir.
So to be clear on that, we actually put the water out, but we don't get credit.
We get no credit
right?
for it, and it's not being reused. In essence, it's entering the aquifer.
I mean, it's technically going into the aquifer,
It's
we're just
entering
not
the
getting credit
aquifer.
for it.
That's right. It's entering the aquifer, but ultimately, it is. I don't. The word that comes to mind is it's a lost supply, if you will, because we're getting no credit for it. But we're running some modeling for the mayor and council now, so that we can have additional dialogue on the allocation. But ideally, you would want to have another recharge facility available to capture that, or you would want to have a direct use customer that could ultimately acquire that. That you would be maximizing your effluent to the fullest at that particular time. And then I also outlined, just for the purposes of, because they have been our two most reliable clients over the last several years, we have 540 acre feet of treated effluent delivered to Dave White Golf Course for irrigation purposes. And we had, which by the way, I'm getting a number of fantastic comments this year with the overseed at the Dave White Golf Course. This is just a good use for treated effluent. And the total amount delivered to Desert Basin, it was 1,181 acre feet of effluent. They do take our treated effluent, and they blend it with CAP water for the use in their cooling towers and the like. But they've been a very consistent customer, and you'll see the agreement that we have with them here in just a second. If I can spend just a minute providing the mayor and council with a bit of context on our storage credits, and ultimately, when at least in my mind, as development continues, particularly under the alternative designation of assured water supply program, you're going to find that these long-term storage credits, both that we're generating today and the potential of generating in the future, is going to be a key to allocation, because essentially what it does is it becomes a supply to a developer, and it will drive down the cost of the physical water supply. Effluent is very likely one of the most affordable approaches to physical water supplies today. But what our managed recharge facility was permitted in 2017. You'll see that in that particular year we received just a handful of credits, 162 acre feet. In 2018, we received 1,658 acre feet. In 19, 23, 31, and then we have a combination of 20 and 21. Part of that was the accounting and recording. There's a very thorough process that must be done annually, where we're actually submitting reports to ADWR. They're running the analysis that I spoke about earlier, and they're awarding, but they ultimately provided that in a lump of 2 years. And so you can see, as of 2021, we had approximately 8,764 acre feet of long-term storage credits in the city of Casa Grande's account balance. At some point, I do envision these being monetized and it's sold, perhaps, for development and the like. But and this is 100% driven by what we are processing today, not necessarily what we anticipate processing in the future. You may ask why 2021. ADWR does indicate, will tell you that they're behind in making those calculations and awarding the credits, and so we're hoping to get some of that updated here in the next couple of months. I add these items, these next couple of slides specifically for the mayor and council to have a context on these long-term storage credits. They ultimately have to be recovered by a well within the hydrological impact area. And so while we are generating these credits, we have to actually pump the water from within that area. I've got a map that will give you a better pictorial of that in just a second here. But ultimately, the well has to be located within 1 mile of the recharge facility. There are some other requirements as well, but ultimately, the message is, at least from my perspective, is that I want everybody to recognize that while we're generating these credits, there is still additional infrastructure that's necessary to be able to draw that recovered effluent from the aquifer. and this is the map that I spoke about. It is something that was done as part of the Westwater study that for our team. You see the wash, which really is depicted very nicely here with the green shaded area. In order for us to recover our long-term storage credits, it would have to transpire you would have to have a well within that green area, within a mile of that green area. So again, I think the primary message is, number one, I want to make sure the council is aware of the components of this, but secondarily, at least for my seat and the seat of a number of professionals, it really speaks to the fact that as we continue planning for Casa Grande as a community, there may be a need for us to recharge our effluent in other locations, so that you build these areas where those storage credits can be recovered. If I can just spend just a few minutes providing the mayor and council with a bit of overview of the commitments that we have typically through agreement. As I mentioned before, Dave White Municipal Golf Course, they've averaged 520 to 500 acre feet for several decades. It's very consistent, but they've been our longest customer. The Desert Basin Generation Station, they've been averaging roughly 1,568 acre feet, which is about 1.4 million gallons per day. We do have a long-term agreement with Desert Basin, 40 years. Copper Mountain Ranch also has some language embedded within their current agreement related to reclaimed water. I suspect that as that development moves forward, there'll be some dialogue. There'll likely be some changes with that, but I wanted to make sure the council was aware of that. And then lastly, the item related to our designation of assured water supply. The city of Casa Grande, the mayor and council approved a resolution that would allocate 1,370 acre feet of long-term storage credit to the city's designation. What that essentially did is it allowed the groundwater allocation that's approved by ADWR to grow by the 1,370, which was necessary to meet the development demands of the development itself. We have also, we've also had requests from 2 industrial users. Both of those individuals both of those companies are wanting direct direct access to effluent, so not a long-term storage credit, but ultimately building infrastructure where they can take the effluent for industrial uses. It's approximately 2,000 acre feet. And really, I think the most important message is that as the alternative designation of assured water supply program continues and it is implemented within the community, I have no doubt that we're going to have a variety of residential developers wanting some level of commitment and allocation of effluent towards their project. I think the key and one of the elements that we've been thinking about, the council will get to hear a little more about this in one of our upcoming meetings, is the idea of really controlling the effluent that we're generating today and saving it for uses, direct use and recharge today, and ultimately perhaps entering into some type of agreement to return a certain amount of effluent that's processed in new development back to those developers. So that'll be part of the strategy that we actually present.
Larry, that's what I was going to ask is, as new development comes on, we're going to create more
That's right.
effluent, and it's probably be a different presentation. One of the series we'll get more into that. So.
Yes,
Okay.
and in fact, I'll cover a little bit of that in one of the upcoming slides, sir. But
Larry, was that
yes.
2,000 acre feet for each
No, it's a
total?
combined aggregated total. Those are just
Okay.
requests that have been made.
Okay.
And ultimately, as you can see, in my mind, the goal is to establish a strategy that best serves the needs of existing and future users while limiting the processed volumes that are not reused or recharged. I think as we go down this path and we're putting together a number of policies and strategies and the like, the key to me is ensuring that we're effectively using every acre foot of effluent that we possibly can towards this community to some benefit, either through direct use, conservation, through turf irrigation, which will lessen the demand on groundwater pumping, to allocating specifically for future development. So that, at least in my mind, is the goal that we ought to be targeting.
Especially the 1,351 we're not getting credit for.
Right.
They were doing it again.
And I will say that number is pretty fresh number. It's a number that we've just recently calculated because we're ultimately trying to get more details about the type of credits we're generating. But, so it's something that is, the process needs to be well timed. But I do think that there is some analysis that we can do that we can really fine tune that number as well. And so, Councilmember Herman asked just a few minutes ago, here's what I consider to be part of the next series. One would be obtain the details on the alternative designation of assured water supply and what goes with that, what the new landscape is going to look like for development in Casa Grande. I think this council needs to be fully aware of that. We need to evaluate allocation approaches. And what I mean by that is do we want to give a percentage to residential? Do we want to give a percentage to industrial? Do we want to ultimately try to focus on direct reuse? Do we want to focus on long-term storage credits? We've got there'll be a lot of dialogue that comes on those, and then ultimately implementing an allocation strategy that we can share, one that I think is flexible, but one that really drives the decisions as we are getting approached by the various developers and or potential users of effluent in the future. And so with that, I tried to stay within 30 minutes, and I think I've been successful. So I'm going to pause there, Madam Mayor, and pause for any questions.
Okay. He only has 2 minutes of questions, so. Any questions? Matt, go ahead.
So the 2,000 acre feet roughly that people have requested, they're gonna have to get that, right, one way or another, either pumping groundwater or using effluent. Is that fair? Is that a fair guess?
Yes, they are either currently using groundwater that they're pumping and acquiring from the service provider Arizona Water Company, and or they would need to build new water infrastructure that ultimately would pump the groundwater in lieu of using treated effluent as a conservation method.
And then to be clear for people watching, is there's two things that you taught me. There's direct users who are actually using the water.
That's right.
And then there's the paper, what we call paper water, right, that attributes to use down the road, the long-term storage credits.
That's correct.
Moving it around. So.
Yes.
Okay, thanks.
No, thank you, Larry, and I know this is like a huge undertaking, but I just appreciate, first going through the background, where we are today, and then moving forward, and you talked about, developing allocation approaches and strategies, and, we wish we had a crystal ball and see where we're gonna go in 5 years, but we don't. And so, but it is good just to have these guidelines and, just so when people come, we have some type of strategy in place. So
Right.
how do you feel how long do you think it's gonna take to get to that point?
Talking to our external consultants that are assisting us on that, I'm hoping that we will be pretty well wrapped up and by the end of February. So in essence, a study session every meeting in January and February on the various topics. I do think that when council begins to see the data, it'll become a little clearer on how we go about the approach that we're going to and strategy that we'll feel comfortable with. So the hope is by the end of February.
And hopefully we'll have something with ADOS by then, so
Yes.
that'll be helpful, I would imagine,
Absolutely.
on what that strategy is going
Yes.
to be. So, okay,
All
thank
right,
you.
thank you.
Thank you very much. Anything else?
Thanks for breaking it up.
No, really. We had all of that one meeting,
Yeah.
it would be tough. Okay, so next, let's see, the Public Works Department, the whole team's here, huh? Except Kevin.
We'll let you know.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. My name is Natalie Stevens. I'm with the Public Works Engineering Department, and I'm joined with Clark Klattenoff. He is our city's traffic engineer. And tonight we're here to talk to you about traffic signals and how they are prioritized and warranted. So one of the questions we received is, should Pueblo and Cottonwood be a priority and why? So we wanted to go over how the Public Works Department prioritizes signals. We review traffic volumes. Warrants are provided in the Manual of Uniform Traffic Control Devices, also known as the MUTCD. So the MUTCD is a national standard for traffic signals, traffic devices, and signage. Next, we're going to go into what is the definition of a warrant and what are the elements evaluated to establish the warrant. So the elements evaluated are the sum of the volumes in the main direction of travel, and also the sum of the volumes in one approach in a minor direction of travel. We also evaluate the peak hour. The MUTCD has 3 volume warrants that are routinely used: peak hour volumes, and then highest 4-hour volumes per day, and then the highest 8-hour volumes per day.
What you're looking at here is one of the graphs from the MUTCD. It's a nomograph where you plot the volumes as described by Natalie. So on the bottom, you will see the volumes entered in from the main roadway, in this case Cottonwood. In the lower left-hand corner, I actually have a snapshot of the volumes that are entered there. I've done the math. You can see at the bottom, there's over 2,000 vehicles along the Cottonwood approach. If you take that up to the graph, it extends beyond the graph, the last number being 1,800. So we're at the end of the graph there. The number of vehicles on the southbound approach, the total number of vehicles is 331 along the Pueblo approach. So when you go into the graph, as you look at it, you see multiple lines. It allows you to do the warrant study if there's one lane on both the main roadway and the approaching roadway, or 2 lanes. In this particular case, Cottonwood has 2 lanes or more on the approach, as does Pueblo has 2 lanes. That is the left and through and the right turn lane. So we would be using the uppermost lane. At the far right of the graph, any number exceeding 150 vehicles would substantiate a warrant. As you can see, we're at 331 vehicles, so we're substantially above what a warrant would prescribe for a traffic signal. Sometimes when a warrant is done, because right turns on reds do happen, also plotted if there's a 25% deduction in the number of right turns on the approach, so that ends up with 278. That's what I would use to evaluate the warrant, is including that deduction. It still gives us a volume of 278, which far exceeds the minimum of 150 to meet the warrant. Any questions on that?
The next question we received is, how many intersections have met warrants and which ones are they? So we have a list here. Top of the list is Pueblo and Cottonwood Lane. There's one I left out, Thornton and Cottonwood. We also have Florence Boulevard, Via del Cielo, Palomino Parkway and McCartney Road, Pert Road and O'Neill Drive, Mission Parkway and Cottonwood Lane, Centennial Boulevard and Pennell Avenue, which should be starting construction very soon. We also have Pennell and O'Neill, Florence and Hacienda, Pert and Rodeo, Palm Avenue and Pennell Avenue, and then Jimmy Kerr Boulevard, and then the I-10 eastbound ramp. And so that kind of plays into the city's strategic plan, which is to identify and improve 4 roadway intersections per year to pass level of service. Next, we have our signal spacing. So I know one of the concerns was the signal spacing. And so the distance from Treckle to Pueblo is a 1/4 mile. And so that is our minimum spacing that we allow for traffic signals. So that would be a minimum spacing, so that would be acceptable.
One of the comments, and we're hearing from the public, is there really a need for a traffic signal here? So one of the tools that is in the toolbox for traffic engineering and signaling is called an actuated signal. We currently do not have any actuated signals in town. The reason we don't is because the equipment that we have in our cabinets today is dated. It's quite old. And because the wiring that we use to connect the cabinets to the infrastructure in the poles has been patched several times and is in very poor condition. So we're hesitant to try and reconnect anything because we really don't know what's going to happen if we do that. Let me explain what an actuated signal is. Today we have fixed times on our signal system, and then we have a signal system along our primary corridors, Florence, Treckle, and Perry, where we can change the signal timing throughout the day. If there's more demand in a given cycle, we can allocate more time to that cycle, and then over the next couple cycles, it will readjust itself in order to maximize the travel times through those corridors. What an actuated signal system does is during the off-peak hours, which at a location like this may be a predominant number of hours, what it will do is it will retain green time on Cottonwood Lane and not convert to green time to Pueblo unless it senses a vehicle. When it senses a vehicle, it will go ahead and allocate it a very short period of time very quickly in order to make its movement, and then quickly convert back to green time. So this is available because this is a new signal cabinet, and we will have all new wiring in there. So not only at this location, but other locations along town, as we go into our 3-year program and to replace the cabinets and upgrade all the wiring, we can start to use this tool at multiple locations. Again, the benefit of it being not stopping vehicles on the main corridors or arterial streets when there's no one there. We all experience that. Why are we stopping? We'll be able to limit that at multiple locations, and I think that'll be a very effective tool in addressing citizens' concerns at this particular location.
Clark, is the cost for something like that about the same?
It's all part of the cabinet. There is no additional cost.
Oh, okay.
It's like having
Like
a
the
computer.
programming.
Yeah, it's like having a computer that's 25 years old.
Right, okay.
Versus a modern computer.
Yeah.
But if I,
Go ahead, sure.
if I heard, I was gonna ask, do we have plans to upgrade? But I think you said there's a 3-year plan right now.
Yes, council has gone ahead and allocated budgets over the next 3 years. We're partnering with the fire department, who has a vested interest in making sure that the emergency vehicle preemption system is operating. We're having problems with that because of the cabinets and the wiring. So they have a vested interest in seeing the cabinets upgraded, and as part of the cabinet and infrastructure improvements, we will update that emergency vehicle preemption system.
Then my question would be, the new light that we just put in off of Pinnell Avenue as you're going towards I-10, that last light you come to, is that on a timer as well? So you mentioned about the timer, and my concern with this, I think I brought it up the last meeting in regards to this corner that we're talking about in Pueblo and Cottonwood, and there's another light right up the street from there, not too far.
Colorado.
And so, but let's go back to the timing first. The light that's off Pinnell, is that a time, is on timing, you said?
That's a Ghost Ranch Road, I
Yeah,
believe.
Ghost Ranch.
Yes,
Okay.
that's an ADOT signal.
Okay.
Having driven that pretty routinely for a while now, it does not use the actuated signal timing that I can tell.
I didn't think so as well. That's why I'm asking that question, because I just,
Well,
And it's ADOT.
Everybody says ADOT, and
Yeah.
I guess
I was going to point out that
Yeah.
the list we saw a couple of minutes ago, you listed Pinal.
Pinal.
But all of those will be ADOT
ADOT.
lights, correct?
They are, but we're in partnership with ADOT. We are making improvements because they're
Yes.
important to the community.
yes,
So we're investing in the ADOT system routinely.
I guess I'll ask another question now. Back to Pueblo and Cottonwood. On the south side of that road, that isn't through street, right?
Correct.
Correct. And so most of your volume that's going to be coming out, if I'm not mistaken, it was on the
Pueblo.
slide that you had with the curve. Majority of that is coming from out of the school area that's in the back to your north side, correct?
Well, it's coming from, most of the volume is coming from the neighborhood and a contribution from the school, yes, sir.
Yeah.
So it's important to note that when you're evaluating the minor approach, it's just one side. It's not a combination of the two. So the fact that the school on the south is a very minor contributor has no impact on the warrant evaluation. It's solely from the north side, the southbound approach.
So the point of 150 is not calculated in that. Is that what you're saying?
It's not included in
Not
that.
included, okay.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Any other questions? We'll let you finish. Go ahead.
So this is, let me see. I don't know that this is, it would probably take a separate slide. This is a video that we can get to you. The video itself, what it shows is how an actuated signal works. So essentially, as you look at this, you can see on the left and right, maybe Natalie knows how to get it to come up. I think you have to go to a separate.
Okay.
Right there.
Let's see if it works for us. But as we're waiting for it, you notice that you have the green bar across the two lanes
Right.
on the bottom and top, and then you
Thank
have
you.
the red bar on the
There
right
it
and
goes.
left. There it goes. So what we're looking for on the left, you see the white car coming up to the left. You see it's coming into your screen. Now it turns red and it turns green. That vehicle goes very quickly. That approach is going to turn yellow and red, and the main volume again goes through.
Until a car comes through.
They're gonna wreck.
Yeah. And so the benefit of this system, and even in more congested areas, we have locations where a queue will develop, quite a lengthy queue, and it won't clear in one cycle. This actuated system can be modified and at heavier volumes like on Florence Boulevard, so that when we have the release of traffic from Lucid, for example, we can use it on Thornton Road at Cottonwood. We can use it at Florence and Peters in order to measure the amount of time we need on the minor approaches so we can allocate more time on the major approaches. So it's a great tool that we'll be starting to use as we get the new equipment on board.
Okay.
So the next question we received is, why are pre-construction services preferred by Public Works? And pre-construction services are a small upfront investment to achieve less surprises, better cost control, increased ability to control construction schedule, and then less impact to the community and less time restricting traffic. Here are some of the benefits we can achieve at Pueblo and Cottonwood. Verification of existing conduits are in working order. So there's existing conduits at the site, and we just want to make sure that those conduits haven't collapsed and we're not going to have any issues once we go to start construction. Verify approach to providing power to the cabinet, and then minimizing cost escalation associated with unknowns, and then the opportunity to weigh in on the design and material selection. And then some of the other benefits of constructing a signal at Pueblo and Cottonwood. provides interconnectivity between the neighborhoods, such as north and south of Cottonwood Lane. And it also provides a safe crossing for the 3 schools within half a mile of the intersection by providing a controlled crossing opportunity. So the signal also takes into account our Safe Routes to School initiative, which encourages walking to biking to school. So this would provide a safe crossing for kids going to Legacy or Mission Heights. And then we received 2 letters of support. One is from Mission Heights High School, and then Big House Christian Academy, which is on just south of Cottonwood Lane, along the Pueblo alignment.
And then finally, we did talk a little earlier about the traffic forecast, so wanted to take a look at the traffic forecast. This was taken from the Cottonwood Ranch apartment study. It's the most recent study. It's currently being finished in the southwest corner of O'Neill and Pueblo. So using the data from that particular study, we went ahead and put this map together in conjunction with the Roars 55 and regular housing facility along Peart in Colorado. So you can look at the volumes and compare. There's always enough volume on Cottonwood or Peart to warrant a signal. So you look at the minor approaches and you can see that the volumes are heavy at all of these locations. All of them would, now that you've seen the peak hour warrant, you can tell that all of them would warrant. Colorado clearly warrants the signal that exists there today. But it's also shows that the signal that is being built by the Roars facilities is also warranted at Peart and O'Neill. With that, Public Works has evaluated the potential for what potentially could happen to volumes at the Pueblo and Cottonwood intersection with the completion, an extension of Colorado up to O'Neill, and an extension of Neil from the Legacy School over to Peart. As you look at the volumes, for just the southbound right turn lane alone, even with the 25% reduction, would warrant a traffic signal. Majority of those volumes, we would see limited opportunities or limited driver use of an alternative trip routing, because it would mean a longer trip. Drivers tend to take the shortest trip unless there's significant increase in travel time. We could see a reduction in the number of left turners there, but again, even with the completion of those previously discussed roadways, we see that there will be the need for a traffic signal at this location, along with the actuated signal scheme that would keep it green during the majority of the day. Public Works continue to support the construction of the traffic signal on schedule. Any questions? Yes, sir.
Questions? Go ahead, Matt.
So it looks to me that and I know you just said, but Cottonwood and Pueblo, even if these other roads, that the volume's not gonna change at all?
I said that the southbound right turn, I believe it's 200.
And 9, yeah, what was the other one?
209. And then the southbound left, which is 122. We could see a reduction in that volume. We could see that if they go to the school, that it would make sense for them to go ahead and proceed along O'Neill to Colorado and take the left turn at that location if that's the shorter trip for them. We could see a reduction to the left turn volume, even if there's an erosion or a reduction in the left turn from 122 down to 90. The signal will still be warranted by the fact we see very little reduction in the volume of right turning vehicles. It still warrant the signal.
Any other questions?
Not so far.
Okay. Well, thank you for addressing the questions and concerns that we had. You know, and I think, you know, you talked a lot about, or brought up, you know, the public and the input that we've gotten from the public. And, you know, I think the biggest thing is that, you know, that quarter mile, you know, I know you said that's the minimum. And so that's what it's going to be. So it just seems like it's just so close, but of course, we understand we're all on Cottonwood Lane all the time. But it just seems like it's just during that peak hour of, you know, when the school is getting out and in. But I know you all are traffic engineers, we're not. And so we like to listen to the experts. But you know, I think, you know, my question has always been, is this really, you know, the number one priority, you know, for us? You know, we need traffic signals, and so, and I know you outlined that list, but some of those lists it doesn't really say which ones are development's going to pay for, because I think it's important for the public to see out of those, how many were on
How
there?
they
10?
funded.
10, yeah, if you can pull that up.
I was going to ask her to go back, Madam Mayor. I think it's a key component to cover.
Oh,
At the end.
was it, it's somewhere in there, right here.
Right there.
So how many of those, he's not done with the presentation yet?
don't know.
Oh, okay.
Sorry.
You know, how many of these are already in the queue to be completed from development, from ADOT or whoever?
So I'll go down the list for
Sure.
you. Number 2, Florence Boulevard at Via del Cielo. That one is a developer-driven signal and will be installed here in February, March, April, May
Okay.
timeframe should be done. Palomino and McCartney is also currently going to be constructed in the next several months.
Okay.
Pert O'Neill was talked about, that one will be installed here. Mission Parkway and Cottonwood, that's another one that's being discussed. That one is not under design. That one has less demand than the Pueblo and Cottonwood. Pueblo has a higher demand than Cottonwood, in other words. Centennial Boulevard in Pinal is, ADOT has already bid that project, so that one is being constructed. Pinal Avenue and O'Neill is one that we're currently working with ADOT right now, as I recall. That one is, we do not have anything underway. We're knocking out a couple of others on Pinal currently, and a Hawk is being installed too with them. Florence Boulevard and Hacienda, we had a call with ADOT to discuss number 7 and number 8 with ADOT this week, just so we're on the same page in what the scope of work is. Because it's an ADOT facility, they're also looking for roadway infrastructure improvements. We need to evaluate whether we've appropriately allocated budget in order to include all of the things that they expect to see with the signal being installed there. Pert and Rodeo, that is one that was developer driven, but recently the developer sold the property. So while we thought 4 to 6 months ago that it was going to be installed by a developer, it's now in limbo. We haven't heard from the developer since. So it may be one that we put on a CIP project in the near future. Palm Avenue in Pinal, we're talking to McCartney Ranch right now. Their subdivision has been designed so that their main east-west route will align with Palm Avenue. So that's one that we hope will be installed by the developer.
Okay.
Finally is Jimmy Kerr and the I-10 eastbound ramp. That one is, I've done a warrant study, and so is ADOT. That's on their table to go ahead and put in the signals.
Right.
So that's where
Okay.
we're at. So
Thank you.
Can we get that in a spreadsheet
Yeah, really.
after this?
Or just an update, like if you
Yeah,
can just
yes.
include it in this, and maybe we can get a copy of this presentation and just include those updates would be helpful, so.
Absolutely, absolutely. Madam Mayor, and I know we're going to run short on time here, but I did want to make sure that everybody understands that these numbers are regularly updated every year. So what might have been, what shows as number 1, it really has to do with the timing of a budget allocation, who is responsible for building that, ADOT, the developer, or the city. So after we've had dialogue internally about this list, I don't know that we're going to put numbers out there any longer, right? Because of there could be timing elements that impact when a signal
Right.
is done. I know that this says number 1. It's simply because of the amount of time that it's been in our CIP, that it's been warranted, and the timing of the budget allocation
Got it.
for it. That's what pushed it to number 1 from the city's perspective.
Okay. Thank you. Oh, one more question.
didn't- yeah.
Sure.
So I know we're heavily focused on the Pueblo Drive and Cottonwood Lane here, and I do know we've all received an email with very detailed questions about it that was in opposition. I understand that's going to be included in the future into the record so everyone can see that.
That is
Gentleman's here. You know, and I'm not a traffic engineer. I said that many times last time too, but I am in the people representing business. That's what I like to do. I see people at meetings, I see people at the grocery store, I see people here, I see people at parties, and they ask me about traffic, and that's fine, because that's my job. I have never heard anyone ask me about Pueblo and Cottonwood Drive. I've heard a lot about Jimmy Kerr left turn at Truckle. I've heard a lot about a lot of these other ones here, but that is not one. And I mean, that's one thing that's for me is I represent people, and people talk to us all the time about this stuff. You know, and I see this. Have we looked at any alternatives to a stoplight at this intersection that may be less expensive and quicker so that we can help that until we get the rest of it built out so we can actually see if it's going to reduce by 25% or reduce by 50% maybe, and then it won't be warranted. Just again, not a traffic engineer. I see you have all the data, which is hard to argue with. However, I talk to people all the time, as I know. My friends up here do.
Unfortunately, I don't have a tool in the toolbox that's an interim condition to wait the time to see how it's going to reallocate once we get those
Right.
additional
Understood.
facilities.
Just have to ask the question, so
Right,
we
good.
appreciate it.
Thank you.
Could do a roundabout.
Okay.
Excuse me, did I hear roundabout?
Well, thank you. Thank you both for being here.
Thank you.
We're going to go ahead and just take a couple minute break then and start again. Bob, if you want to hang on the line, I think he's on, isn't he?
Okay,
Okay, just a couple minutes, Bob, and we'll start.
all
up.
right.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, so a couple minutes. We'll get ready. Yes, that's your time. Yes, I do too.
We have to go in and pull them.
Are you doing the, y'all switching on me?
Oh,
Oh, you do the Pledge of Allegiance, okay.
Yeah.
you can do that? Okay.
You're doing the prayer
Hey,
then?
you want me to do prayer? Okay.
So you want me to do the minutes?
You can do minutes.
Okay, I'll do the minutes.
Okay. Okay. Good evening, everyone. Thank you for being here. It's so nice to see our audience here full of people, so thank you for being here. We're going to go ahead and, if you're willing and able, if you can stand for the invocation followed by the Pledge of Allegiance.
Let us pray. Father God, we come to you, Lord. We thank you, Lord, for blessing us to be able to come together and work together, even as a city, for what's best for our city, for our citizens. Father, we just look to you, the author and the finisher of our faith. We pray and ask, Father God, that we will walk in wisdom and knowledge of the truth of your word, that we'll be led by your spirit in all things. And at the end of the day, you will be glorified and you will be honored by our gifts and the talents that you've already given us. So we thank you and we praise you in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen.
Please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you, Councilmember Edwards and Mayor Pro Tem Dillon. Okay, first item on the agenda is the roll call. I believe, Adriana, we have Councilmember Bob Huddleston on the line, and we need to excuse Becca Romo and Sean Dugan from the meeting this evening.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, there's been a motion and a second. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, motion passes. The minutes.
Mayor Fitzgibbons, I move to consider the minutes of the City Council regular meeting December 1st, 2025, and accept for the record the minutes of Historic Preservation Commission of September 22nd, 25, Arts and Culture November 4th, 25, Part-Time Firefighters Board of Trustees November 10th, 25, and the minutes of the Planning and Zoning Commission of November 6th, 2025.
Second.
Okay, there's been a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion? Okay, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Okay, motion passes. The claims.
Mayor Fitzgibbons, I move that we approve the claims report for November the 26th, 2025 to December the 10th, 2025.
Second.
Okay, there's been a motion and a second to approve the claims. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Okay, motion passes. The next item is the meeting agenda approval. Are there any changes to the meeting agenda?
Madam Mayor, staff is asking the mayor and council to remove item F2, which is the recognition of Jesus Ramos. He was unable to attend tonight, as well as item I1, which is the pre-construction services agreement with B&F Constructions from tonight's agenda.
Okay. Is there anything else from the council? Okay, if we can get a motion to approve the amended agenda.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, there's been a motion and a second. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Okay, we have a couple special presentations this evening. First, we have our swearing in of our new firefighter, Maya Pena. So Maya, if you can come up, please.
Okay, repeat after me. I state your name.
I, Maya Pena,
Do solemnly swear or affirm
do solemnly swear or affirm
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
and the laws of the state of Arizona,
and the laws of the state of Arizona,
and that I will bear true faith and allegiance
that I will bear true faith and allegiance
to the same
and
and defend them against all enemies,
defend them against all enemies,
foreign and domestic,
foreign and domestic,
and
and I will faithfully
and impartially
discharge the duties of firefighter
according to the best of my ability.
according to the best of my ability.
So help me God.
So help me God.
All
Congratulations.
right, congratulations. All right, Maya. Congratulations. And welcome. Maya, we're so glad you're here today with the girls' flag football team. Maybe some of these ladies will join us someday, right, ladies? So congratulations, Maya. We're happy to have you. Okay, next on the agenda is the Casa Grande Union Cougars flag football team. So if we can have you all stand up, please. Well, we're happy to have you here today, and so we wanted to. I know this recognition was originally presented at our last meeting, but I guess we know you guys were busy, so weren't able to come. So we're grateful to have you here tonight, so we can celebrate your great season tonight. So we are proud to recognize the Casa Grande Union High School Cougars flag football team for their commitment, teamwork, and outstanding representation of the Casa Grande community throughout their season. The Cougars demonstrated resilience and heart in every game, highlighted by strong leadership from Coach Alistair Mounts and standout performances across the team. This season also marked the final chapter for several seniors, the program's founding mothers, who helped establish a strong foundation and set a lasting standard of excellence. Although the season ended in a hard-fought battle, the team's determination, growth, and sportsmanship reflect the very best of Casa Grande spirit. So please join me in congratulating the Casa Grande Union Cougars flag football team for an exceptional season, and we are presenting everyone with a Casa Grande pin and a certificate to represent our community with pride and integrity. So again, congratulations. But before we come down, Coach, if you can maybe come up and say a few words about the team.
Okay. Up here.
Yes, right there, please.
Good evening, everybody. The first thing I want to do is just express gratitude for the City Council for inviting us here this evening. In particular, Ms. Fitzgibbons, you've actually given speeches for the girls at Chamber of Commerce Bowls in the past, which I definitely remember, and Mr. Edwards always is there for a kind word as well. So thank you for the invitation. The next thing I want to express some gratitude for is the parents and assistant coaches who keep the engine running. So if they could just stand up really fast, the parents.
Yes.
Yeah, parents, it's okay. This is about you too, for real. And the assistant coaches. Only one of my assistant coaches can be here tonight. Coach Deb Aguero is here. So that's one of our assistant coaches. Being the head coach of the girls flag football team at Casa Grande Union is a responsibility that I take very seriously, and I try my best to put the best product on the field and train and mentor the girls as best as I can. We've established a legacy of success in our community. We've never lost a region game. We're region champs for 3 consecutive years in a row. We've made the state playoffs every year that we've been in existence. We've been in existence for 3 years. So we're one of the founders of flag football in the state of Arizona. We take our representation of the city of CG seriously. So we always try to model positivity in when we travel and when we're at home as well. Just to put that into perspective, there's only 4 teams that are awarded by the officials, by the actual officials of AIA, a sportsmanship award. So we were the 5A AIA sportsmanship award winner for this season as well. So we're trying to represent our city as well as we can. I'll just recognize a couple individual players because they do have some pretty amazing personal honors. One of our assistant coaches couldn't be here tonight, Mike Tacker, and his daughter Kayla Tacker. Kayla is a really outstanding player. She's a finalist. There's only 5 players in the entire nation that are finalists for NFL Flag Player of the Year. She just this last week won the Bidwell Cardinals 5A Girls Flag Football Player of the Year for the state of Arizona. It takes a long time to say it because it's really cool. She was also first team all-state safety defensive back with, I think, 7,000 interceptions. We lost track at a certain point. And then she was also a first team wide receiver. The other major individual honor we had this past year was Sarah Mounts was for the second year in a row, named the Offensive Player of the Year for the Southern region. So it's with great gratitude and humility that I get a chance to talk to you tonight and just thank our city, thank our school district for giving us the opportunity to be a team. I want to thank all my players as well for all your hard work and determination. So thank you very much.
Thank you. And if girls can come up, and we're going to come down and get a picture too. Let me get their certificate. Oops, wrong one. I'm going to give the other one. Sorry, can you get there? You know, we're all Cash Grand Union graduates. High school when we were in here. We have to tell you that. Just around the whole life. But it is crazy, we all are. No flag football back in those days, right, Anthony?
No, matter of fact, the first flag football camp that I did for girls was at Valago. And you all were there. A lot of you all were in that camp.
Oh, really?
At Valago, that's before they even started the flag football at the high school.
Well, good. Again, thank you for being here. Okay, next is our consent agenda. So all items listed with an asterisk are considered routine matters and will be enacted by one motion and one roll call vote of the council. There will be no separate discussion of these items unless a council member or member of the public so requests, in which event the item will be removed from the consent agenda and considered in the normal sequence of the agenda. And I have a few speaker cards for items G4 and G5 and probably G6, they're all together. So I'm going to go ahead and pull those from the agenda, and we'll get to those.
G4.
Well, Larry, didn't you say G5 because they're all?
It's G4 and 5. You said
Well, I know
6.
6. I thought he said 6 too. That's
Oh,
the
yeah,
one.
I'm sorry.
Yeah. So pull all three. Right. Okay. So pull all three. Okay. We'll pull those off, and we'll go ahead and. Is there any other one? Any other item we want to pull from the agenda? Besides 4, 5, and 6? No? Okay, so we'll go ahead and have a motion to approve the consent agenda with those 3 items removed.
Mayor Fitzgibbons, I would move for approval of the consent agenda as amended.
Sorry.
Okay, there's been a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion? Okay, if we can get a roll call vote, please, Adriana?
Councilmember Edwards?
Yes.
Councilmember Huddleston?
Yes.
Councilmember Herman?
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem B. Dillon,
Yes.
Mayor Fitzgibbons.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Thank you. Okay, so I know we have the speaker cards for these other items, and they're all together. So we'll go ahead. Larry, do you want to speak on these items first, and then we can have people come in and speak, or how should we move forward on this?
Madam Mayor, all three of these items were approved unanimously at the last meeting where the public hearing was held. And so unless there's additional questions that the council may have, I think we can move right into the comments at this point.
Okay, great. So we'll go ahead, and I'll start with the first one, which is Margaret Schultz. And Margaret, if you can come up, please, and if you can please give us your address when you are here at the microphone here. And limit your remarks to 3 minutes, please.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. My name is Margaret Schultz. I live at 310 West Medlock Drive, Phoenix, Arizona. I'm here today with Worker Powers to speak about the proposed annexation and rezoning of this section of county land. According to city staff documents, the purpose of this annexation and rezoning is to facilitate the expansion of Lucid's automobile assembly plant. Worker Power is not in principle opposed to a Lucid expansion, nor do we object to the city of Casa Grande taking steps to facilitate this expansion. However, we would like, once again, to express concern with the fact that the annexation and rezoning proposal being considered tonight commits the city to future infrastructure improvements, including paving roads, expanding water infrastructure, and expanding the coverage of police and fire departments to cover the land as it is annexing from the county. However, nowhere in the public documents is there an estimation of how much these improvements and expansions will cost. Moreover, these improvements could represent a significant value for Lucid and their expanded plant. The documents also say nothing about how the city would recoup any portion of the value at a later date. Of course, these are items that Lucid and the city could negotiate later on, but absent these details, why would the city agree to approve the zoning and annexation before this agreement is worked out? Even more, why would the public support the expenditure of public resources, having no idea of the cost and no idea of what the city would get in return? At the last city council meeting, we heard statements from Lucid representatives who have said that this annexation and rezoning may not even necessarily relate to a Lucid expansion. So if there's now some uncertainty about what's being proposed, what is the rush then to approve these items? Since we're missing some of this key information, why not delay and hold the vote with the rezoning, annexation, and development plan all together? So for these reasons, we are recommending the council vote no or delay the vote until a further time. Thank you so much for the opportunity to speak.
Thank you, Margaret. Okay, I have Seth King. Hi, Seth, if you can give us your address, please.
Sure. Good evening, Mayor, members of the City Council. My name is Seth King. I'm a land use attorney with Lucid. My business address is 7373 Gateway Boulevard in Newark, California, 94560. And here tonight asking that you approve the annexation and rezoning items that are before you in the manner that they're presented. We think that there are many benefits to the city of these proposals. In particular, it adds an additional 1,200 acres to the city that are earmarked for commercial and industrial development. In the future, that should lead to high-paying jobs for city residents, as well as an increase in the industrial and commercial tax base. Additionally, the annexation will extend the city limits down to I-8, which is a new frontier for the city to reach. I'd like to also point out that the annexation and rezoning are consistent with earlier city actions, including your 2030 general plan. City staff at the last meeting went through the various goals, policies, and land use map and explained how these proposals are consistent with those items. The proposals are also consistent with a 2022 development agreement between the city, Pinal County, and Lucid, which discussed both annexing this property and rezoning the bulk of it for I-2 industrial uses. Like to note that no development plan is required under state or local law at this time. But we do look forward to, in the future, discussing a development plan when it is ready with the community and with the city at that time. Also want to note for the record that there has, despite these requests that this is moving too quickly or that there's been inadequate opportunity for public comment, there's in fact been ample public notice here, including posting of the property publication about the hearings, mailings to surrounding residents, none of whom have objected. Additionally, there have been articles in the Casa Grande Dispatch, which have also alerted the community to what's going on. This would be the fourth public hearing or public opportunity to comment as well. So there have been many, many opportunities for notice and an opportunity to be heard on this item. I'll also note that the annexation and rezoning do not award or promise any economic incentives to any private parties. And additionally, regarding the question of the cost of future infrastructure, that's something that will be resolved over time when specific infrastructure projects are proposed. And again, we look forward to partnering with the city as we have at the AMP1 site. So thank you, and we ask for your approval.
Thank you, Seth. Pablo Correa? Pablo, if you can give us your address, please.
Hi, my name is Pablo Correa, 1232 East Rodeo Road, Casa Grande, Arizona. I'll keep it pretty short. I'm a local resident, born and raised here, Casa Grande, Arizona, went to school here, and I now lead an organization, a nonprofit that does engagement work with citizens of Casa Grande and the broader rural Arizona. I have spent a lot of years working in Casa Grande, around Casa Grande, in various different industrial roles throughout my career here. And I do believe that the city, as well as Lucid and other partners, have an obligation to do right by community. And I do believe that the city and the leadership of the city has the trust of the community through the improvements that it's done over the last several years, which are always a controversial issue and an issue up for discussion, whether that's the expansion of affordable housing, but also the roads that are constantly being upgraded. I live, like I said, on Rodeo Road, so I drive my daughter to Valago every single day, so very appreciative of the expansions out by Union, where I attended as well. Like I had mentioned earlier, the city and corporations have an obligation to do right by its citizens, and that's not just for well-paying jobs, but that's also for community benefits, and like I mentioned, trust that the city government will be doing that. And I would also like to note that for the years that I worked in various industries throughout Pinal County, I can say that there is a value outside of solely community benefits and negotiation of who fronts the bill for infrastructure. And once again, I do believe companies should be fronting the majority or their part of the bill. But the time I spent working in these spaces allowed me to raise my daughters, or allowed me to provide for my family while I was making plans to advance my career, whether that be secondary education, founding various organizations, or just basic entrepreneurship that you find in small communities. So I do believe that the impact of having large-scale industries coming to small towns is an overall benefit, and I trust that the due diligence of the city will be done, and I urge the council to vote yes. Thank you.
Thank you, Pablo. Mike Cruz. Or Michael, sorry, I see Michael. If you can give your address, please.
Good evening, Mayor Fitzgibbons and members of the council. My name is Mike Cruz, Senior Policy Manager with Lucid Motors. My personal residence and address is 1113 East 9th Street in Casa Grande, Arizona. As a lifelong resident of this great state and a member of this community, I stand here not just as a representative of Lucid, but a member of this community. What we have before us is something pretty simple. We have a great organization. We have a business here that's invested a lot of money into this community, into the workers, into all of what we do and what we call life here in Casa Grande. And we're trying to fulfill our mission, which is through technology, we create experiences that drive the world forward. In order to drive the world forward, we require the opportunity to grow, to expand, to innovate and create. And as part of that growth and those opportunities come advancement for the community. We've been long, good corporate stewards working with this council, members of this community, the staff here, and we walk side by side, lockstep throughout the entire process. And I stand before you today because what we're witnessing is really a very unfortunate situation where we have an outside political group that has really come down to try to shake down this community for the benefit of their own interest. Quite frankly, their interests do not represent the way of life for everyday Casa Grande residents. Their interests go back to the valley and reach further back into a wide array of different funders and political organizations that support them from California and other means. What I do want to say as we move forward, a lot of the messaging that's around Lucid and us being not necessarily good stewards and transparent, we've been transparent across the whole time that Mr. King represented the entire year, and public comment was available. And we have this last minute, in a sense, a corporate shakedown for their interest. And I will say this, Lucid, this pillar is sustainability. Our focus, we make EVs, electric vehicles. Carbon footprint is in our mind. We are very careful with how we utilize the natural resources that go into our facilities, whether it's energy conservation, whether it is water conservation. We work with Arizona Water Daily, APS, to ensure that our natural resources are protected, to ensure our environmental resources are protected, to ensure our community has a safe commute to Lucid Motors. Everything we do is in the interest of this. Our footprint is a lot less than other industrial users in the area. And as we look to expand and grow, we ask for your support. We're the largest employer in Pinal County. We want to continue to grow. We're growing right now. We're hiring. And the future relies on this vote to continue that growth and to ensure we put Casa Grande first. With that being said, thank you for your time. Mayor, Council, we ask that you move forward with voting to approve the annexation and the industrial amendments to be able to move forward with the industrial I2 zoning as well. Thank you for your time and appreciate it.
Thank you. Is there anyone else that would like to speak on these D4, D5, or D6? Okay. Any other questions, comments from the council? Sure.
I, of course, have a comment. We received a lot of emails about this from a form email system, and I emailed back. I tried to email back everyone I got. Some of them bounced back, some of them didn't go. And I got a few responses from it, from people living here. And what I said in there is I said, you know, we've been working on this for a year. This is, you know, we've had open public meetings with planning and zoning, February 25, public process, no concerns. I'm paraphrasing here, and about how this fits in with our general plan and everything, you know, and so people could understand how our process works. And some of them I got back said, thanks for the detailed description. I don't have any further issues with this. I thought it was going to be annexed for the sole purpose of being purchased by Lucid. So, you know, they just don't want another abandoned thing. And Lucid's not abandoning their infrastructure anytime soon. Someone said, thanks for the clarification. You know, I had one from an employee at Lucid who clicked on the link and said, oh, I didn't understand that. Yeah, I like working there. They really said that. So, you know, so that's the kind of responses I've been getting from people who live in our community. Because I do, like I said earlier, I'm in the people representing business here in town, so that's my job to talk to people who live there. I lived here my whole life as well. I've seen a lot of companies come help us out here. And, you know, questions have been raised. It goes with our general plan. I mean, that's what we've been planning. You know, we've been working on it for a year, and how we pay for stuff, this is our normal operate. We zone, we annex, we zone, then we do the site plan. That's how we've done all of these. And to answer annexation or impact fee questions and service questions, there's impact fees when people do this, and that's what helps pay for our services. Police, fire, water's a whole different company from the city. That's another expense that is borne by them. And if we do a development agreement, we work out how we're going to pay for infrastructure. So, I mean, we're trying to address all these things, and we've been working with Lucid, and one thing is the affordable housing, so we've worked on that. As you guys know, we have housing in Casa Grande now. We do that, we work with them. And now Lucid's been a good partner. I just went to the Salvation Army dinner the other night, and they were a corporate sponsor of the Salvation Army dinner, you know, so they're part of our communities as well. But it's just, you know, like I said, if anyone else sent me an email and you didn't get it back, it's because it bounced back. Please email me again. But I did take the time because it was important to me, you know, that we got all these emails, and I talked to the people who live here, and so most of them, you know, were that. And there was one that's asking about how they handle their waste and everything, so I'm going to look into that and talk to Lucid so we can answer these people's questions, and I'm sure they're going to help. So thank you for all the emails, and I do appreciate it when people interact, and I did try to answer them all, so thanks.
Thank you, Matt. Any other questions, comments? No, and I appreciate you giving an update on that. It is important. I think we just have to remember that what you said, you know, this is something that we've been working on. We've had several public hearings, meetings, mailings, articles regarding this. And I know someone said it well, is that, you know, a development plan isn't required at this point. You know, and I think that's what we have to remember, that we are just talking about annexation right now. The development agreement will come later. And so that will be another process where the public can get involved, and we will actually make sure that we are looking at community benefits. And that's come up a couple times, you know, as far as community benefits. And, you know, when we talk to the group about what that means, you know, affordable housing, we've addressed affordable housing. We, you know, addressed it a little too much, I think. People don't understand, but, you know, the plan that we have here, but, you know, we feel we've been on top of that. You know, childcare has been a big issue, you know, with a lot of our industrial businesses actually throughout the community, and Lucid has been part of that childcare roundtable. You know, we are trying to come up with solutions and how we can bring childcare to the community, and Lucid has been there. They're at the table. They're at the business roundtables. They're at the workforce development roundtable. They are true community partners, and so it's frustrating to think that people don't see Lucid as that, because we work with them. It's not like we're giving away anything. It's we're working together to bring the best into our community. And I must say, being a longtime Casa Grande citizen, I've been here since I was 10 years old, and I never imagined we would have a company like Lucid in the city of Casa Grande. And I've been to that manufacturing facility several times. I've been on tours, and it gives me so much joy to see that our residents have the opportunity to work in a company like that that's just so, I mean, innovative and high tech, and every job you can imagine in there. I mean, the robots are just incredible. But, you know, for our citizens to have those opportunities, not only with Lucid, but several, you know, many of the companies, is just amazing. So I just appreciate the, you know, the partnership, you know, a true community partner. And when we talk about community benefits, it's important to us as a council to make sure that, you know, they're paying, you know, with the infrastructure. We know we need the infrastructure, so that's always considered. And we always look at how it's going to benefit the community. So with that, I just feel that I don't think that it warrants us to not vote to move this forward. And it's disappointing to see outside interest, but you know what, it's okay. We are, you know, strive on making sure that we are transparent, and we're inclusive, and we're giving information to the community. We're not just sending out mass text messages for people to send a letter. So please reach out to us. For those of you that are watching, please reach out to us. We're here. You see us in the grocery store, you see us at the schools, you see us here in council meetings every other week. So if you have questions on this, please reach out to us, and we will give you factual information. So that's my comment.
Very well said.
Well said.
Bob. So I think, what do we do? Do we go item by item then, Larry? Or Brett? Okay. So we'll go ahead and start with G4.
Okay. Ordinance number 3486, an ordinance extending and increasing the corporate limits of the city of Casa Grande, Pinal County, state of Arizona, pursuant to the provisions of Title IX, Chapter 4, Article 7, Arizona Revised Statutes and amendments thereto, by annexing thereto certain territory contiguous to the existing city limits of the city of Casa Grande, known as the Project Saguaro annexation, and authorizing initial zoning of Urban Ranch UR for properties within said territory.
Mayor Fitzgibbons, I move to approve ordinance number 3486 as presented.
Second.
Okay, there's been a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion? Okay, if we can get a roll call vote, please. Adriana?
Councilmember Edwards?
Yes.
Councilmember Helston?
Yes.
Councilmember Herman?
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem B. Dillon?
Yes.
Mayor Fitzgibbons?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Thank you. Okay, item G5. We can get an ordinance number, please.
Ordinance number 1178.470, an ordinance of the Council of the City of Casa Grande, Arizona, amending zoning ordinance number 1178 and its subsequent amendments by changing the zoning from Urban Ranch UR to General Industrial I-2 on property generally located along the east and west sides of Thornton Road, south of Selma Highway, and north of Interstate 8, Casa Grande, Arizona.
Mayor
Mayor
Fitzgibbons.
Fitzgibbons, I would move to approve ordinance number 1178.470 as presented.
Second.
Okay, there's been a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion? Okay, if we can get a roll call vote, please.
Councilmember Edwards?
Yes.
Councilmember Helston?
Yes.
Councilmember Herman?
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem B. Dillon?
Yes.
Mayor Fitzgibbons?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Thank you. Okay, on to item H.
No.
Six.
G.
Oh, G6.
Six.
Oh, sorry about that. I thought we did G6. Sorry. G6, ordinance number, please.
Ordinance number 1178.471, an ordinance of the Council of the City of Casa Grande, Arizona, amending zoning ordinance number 1178 and its subsequent amendments by changing the zoning from Urban Ranch UR to Community Services B4 on property generally located at the northeast corner of Thornton Road and Interstate 8, Casa Grande, Arizona.
Mayor Fitzgibbons, I move approval of ordinance number 1178.471 as presented.
Second.
Okay, there's been a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Okay, if we can get a roll call vote, please.
Councilmember Edwards?
Yes.
Councilmember Helston?
Yes.
Councilmember Herman?
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem B. Dillon?
Yes.
Mayor Fitzgibbons?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Thank you, Adriana. Okay, now it's our public comment on the agenda. So I have a few speaker cards. We'll go ahead and start with Tad Roberts. Where did Tad go?
Did he leave? He left.
Did he leave? Oh, I saw him. Okay. Okay, Tad left. Joe Henkin. And Joe, if you can give us your address, please.
2078 North Sweetwater Drive. Okay. Madam Mayor, council members, I'm here tonight to publicly commend the Public Works Department and the street superintendent and their division for selecting Cactus Pavement to replace our street asphalt. From beginning to end, the Cactus crew has been pleasant, respectful, and even helpful as my neighbors and I navigated the construction project. You know, we live in the lakes, and it's been a long time coming, but it is there, and we were informed of the schedule. We were given paper schedules, so we knew they were coming. We were given guidance. The workers were courteous throughout the project, and it seemed extremely thorough. I mean, they're still here today, you know, putting the final manhole covers on, so they've been very thorough, and I have not talked to a single neighbor that has not appreciated the work that they've done and the way they've treated our community. So thank you.
Thank you, Joe. Thank you for taking the time to come, too. Yes, thank you. Okay, Barbara Sundust.
My name is Barbara Sundust, and I live at 1273 East Cordova Avenue, Casa Grande. Two of the things that I know I come often to address these issues, but that's because they're very important, and because, for example, I talked about women living in their cars, women who are like in their 60s and even 70s living in their cars because there's no place for them to be. So I'm just, if there was like an or a house, a large house, I know there was one on Olive, and that maybe would have housed these people. And I understand that that the people who live in the area need to approve of it, but there's nothing risky about these women having a place to stay, and rather than living in their cars. And I can't, I just can't imagine that anybody would not want to help an elderly person who needs a place to stay. And even some of them I know are doing some temporary work. It's hard to work a lot when you're in a car, but they are doing temporary work. So that's one thing. The other thing is the encampment. This past Wednesday, we had Laundry Love, and one of the homeless people we have come consistently have not been there since October, but they were there last Wednesday, and they walked like 2 miles to get there to do their laundry. And I said, where are you going to go after this? Because this is like at nighttime, it's dark, and they didn't know where they were going to go. And they're not, these are not alcoholic people. They're not on drugs. They're just poor people out of their luck and need a place to be. And they would take care of an area that was given to them. If there was an encampment, they would help take care of it. And they told me both of them had got a $200 fine for not being anywhere. and so I just find that in one sense, and I'm on that UPAC committee, but in one sense I think we did the ordinance before we had a solution to help these people. And so now we're scrambling around to help them, and they're not bad people. I think maybe a community some of them have drug problems and those kinds of things, but lots of them do not. And we need to be open-minded to these people and have a place for them to be, even if it's an empty building, or somehow fix that up until we can get a really good encampment place for them where they can help take care of it, where they can get the services they need, and where they can maybe help even get jobs. So I just continue to beg for them to get attention. Thank you.
Thank you, Barbara. Okay, so we have Melissa. Let's see, we have Kelly, Melissa. Mindy, you too, or just Kelly, Melissa? Okay.
Do you need my address?
Yes, please.
Okay, I'm Melissa Fuentes, 1402 North Koenig Drive. We're actually here on behalf of the Pinal chapter of We So Serve. We're the local realtor association. And one of the things we value most is recognizing community leaders who truly give back. And tonight, it's our honor to recognize someone who exemplifies community leadership in action. Matt Herman has served Casa Grande for decades, but what sets him apart isn't just how long he's served, it's how deeply he's invested in our community. Matt doesn't show up because it's expected, he shows up because he cares. Beyond the City Council, Matt has dedicated his time to organizations that strengthen our community. He's served as president of the Boys and Girls Club of the Casa Grande Valley, helping support programs that provide opportunity and stability for local youth. He has also served as president of the Rotary Club of Casa Grande, living out the idea of service above self. Matt also currently serves as a City Council liaison to the Casa Grande Youth Commission, ensuring young voices are heard and future leaders are supported. He is active with the Chamber of Commerce, supporting local businesses and civic engagement. What truly stands out is that Matt's commitment goes beyond meetings and titles. Through his family business, Norris RV, he and his family consistently give back by supporting community events, nonprofits, and local initiatives. His service spans government, nonprofit leadership, youth development, and business, and he brings integrity and dedication to each and every role. On behalf of We Serve and our members, we are proud to recognize Matt Herman for his outstanding service and leadership. Matt, thank you for your continued commitment to Casa Grande and for helping make this community stronger.
Thank you.
All right. Good job, Matt. Yes. You surprised him, ladies. Oh, no comment. Don't say anything. Don't say anything. Okay, I can't say anything. Okay, is there anyone else that would like to address the council? Sure, come on up. If you can just give us your name and address, please. Oh, sorry about that.
All right. My name's Philip Ricosi. You want my home address or who I'm representing?
Yes, home address.
Okay. 340 West Calle Rosa, Casa Grande, Arizona. And a lot of you probably know me as Wildman Phil, and I've spent my whole life here educating and entertaining the community. Others of you may know me as my alternate ego because maybe I've put your Christmas lights on your house or in some other way helped to light up your life. But I'm not here representing either one of those today. I'm actually here today as the president of the Black Box Foundation. And the Black Box Foundation has been around for about 10 years. We are the premier performing arts organization in Pinal County. And it was one of these things that I found that a lot of people still don't know who we are. So I wanted to tell you a little bit about what the Black Box Foundation does. We are basically an advocate for the performing arts. We help to get the community involved in doing such things. In the last year, we have had over 275 community members in actual productions, live plays that we put on. We have had 238 of those were our community's youth. So that's where a lot of our heart is the youth of the community. We've actually had 58 different performances this last year, 44 of those being involving the youth of our community. We've had other community events as well. We do karaoke nights, we have movie nights, we had an escape room, dance festival, different things. We've had 9 or 10 of those this last year. And with that being said, we've had over 3,300 people attend just our actual play performances. I have no idea how many people showed up to some of the other events that we do for the community. And a lot of people, as I said, I found out still don't know exactly what we do, how involved we are in the community. And so I want to take this opportunity to invite the city council members and Ms. Mayor to our upcoming, well, it's ongoing, we're smack in the middle of, what we have going now is 101 Dalmatians Kids. If and I want to mention, in case you have no idea what we're doing, if you've ever been to one of your school, plays with your kids when they were younger, this is not that. This is actual theater. We actually had 3 nominations last year for the Arizona Awards, which is that puts it on the same tier as like the theaters in all of Arizona, the Phoenix area and everything. And that was a big honor to be kind of up to that level. We also have our youth summer camp, which we do in conjunction with the city. And I'm going to go ahead and just give you guys our upcoming schedule so you can attend to one of our things. And here is some tickets to the 101 Dalmatians performance, which you missed last weekend, but there's a code on here you can get in for free because we like you guys. All right? So
you can give it to Larry, but thank you.
Could give them to who?
Larry.
All right, thank you.
Thank you, Phil.
Everybody's pointing.
Is there anyone else? Okay, we'll go ahead and close the public comments. And now to award of contracts. So we have several, looks like Public Works here is on for a few of these. So we'll go ahead and start with item I-1.
2. 1 was removed.
2.
Oh, that's right, my 1 was removed. I-2. I know, I have it.
Good evening, Madam Mayor and City Council. I just want to preface both item I-2 and I-3 are project management service contracts for several CIP projects that we're moving forward with. So I'll start with I-2. Staff recommends that mayor and council approve a contract with Wilson and Company, Inc., engineers and architects for project management design services for various roadway improvement projects in an amount not to exceed $98,000. The city published a request for qualifications, solicitation number 1040-26-CG, and Wilson and Company, Inc. and engineers and architects was selected as the most qualified submitter in accordance with Title 34 guidelines. The city of Casa Grande continues to advance roadway and infrastructure improvements as part of its ongoing capital improvement program. And to support these efforts, the city published an RFQ seeking professional engineering firms to provide project management design services for multiple capital improvement projects. The Wilson Company will provide the project management services through Owen Mills, who will act as an extension of city staff through the design, procurement, and construction phases for the following projects. Project number 26096, the Colorado through O'Neill and O'Neill to Peart Road project. And project number 26088, the traffic signal at Casa Grande and Maricopa Highway and Ethington project. The current scope anticipates intersection improvements at Casa Grande, Maricopa Highway and Ethington, now without the installation of traffic signal. That was included just as some changes of scope were determined needed for the project. Wilson and Company, the service through Wilson Company will include project management, design phase coordination, construction manager at risk procurement support, and construction phase technical assistance for the previously listed projects, which will be provided on a time and materials basis per the attached fee estimate. Again, the total fiscal impact is that $98,000, and the funds are available in their respective accounts, and these funds would be drawn equally between those projects. And with that, I will answer any questions you may have.
Any questions? Any questions? No. I don't think so. So if we can get a resolution number, please. Thank you.
Resolution number 5862, a resolution of the Council of the City of Casa Grande, Arizona, accepting the proposal for professional services from Wilson and Company, Inc., engineers and architects to provide design, project management services for various roadway improvement projects, authorizing expenditure of public funds, and authorizing the execution of a contract.
Mayor Fitzgibbons, I move that we approve resolution number 5862 as presented.
Okay, there's been a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion? If we can get a roll call vote, please.
Councilmember Edwards?
Yes.
Councilmember Huddleston?
Yes.
Councilmember Herman?
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Dillon?
Yes.
Mayor Fitzgibbons?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Thank you. Okay, item I3.
Alrighty. Madam Mayor and City Council, staff recommends that the Mayor and City Council approve a contract with Schlesinger Consulting Engineering, PLLC, for project management services for the East Cottonwood Lane and North Mission Parkway intersection. This is capital improvement project number 26136 and 26059, as well as the East Courtson Road from North Banal to North Peart Road project, which is contained within the capital improvement plan as projects number 26083 and 26095. The city published that same request for qualifications, solicitation number 1040-26-CG, and Schlesinger Consulting Engineering was selected as the second most qualified submitter, and the RFQ allowed for the number 1 and number 2 positions. This was in accordance with the Title 34 guidelines. The scope of this work will include project management, technical and administrative services for the Cottonwood intersection and Court Road design projects on a time and materials basis. Project management will be provided by Whitetail Schlesinger, PE, and charged by categorical rates shown in the fee estimate that was attached. The total cost of these services will not exceed $148,958. The funds are available in the project numbers listed as I stated, and will be equally drawn between the separate projects. And with that, I can answer any questions you may have.
Any questions? Yes.
Just got a comment.
Sure.
Just good to see these road projects moving forward. Here we are. Yeah.
Madam Mayor, can I make a comment? Because I think it's an important context. We actually are looking essentially to extend our staff to handle these projects to accelerate them. That's one of the reasons why we're moving forward with the recommendation of just to keep those projects moving forward to meet the expectations.
Good, thank you.
Thank you.
Any questions, comments? If we can get a resolution number, please.
Resolution number 5866, a resolution of the Council of the City of Casa Grande, Arizona, accepting the proposals for professional services from Schlesinger Consulting Engineer, PLLC DBA SCE Engineering, to provide design project management services for various capital improvement projects, authorizing expenditure of public funds, and authorizing the execution of a contract.
Mayor Fitzgibbons, I move that we approve resolution number 5866 as presented.
Second.
Okay, there's been a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion? If we can get a roll call vote, please.
Councilmember Edwards?
Yes.
Councilmember Huddleston?
Yes.
Councilmember Herman?
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tempore Dillon?
Yes.
Mayor Fitzgibbons?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Thank you. Okay, I4. Is that you, Dwayne? Oh, sorry, Clark, I didn't see
Yeah,
that.
He's hiding down there.
Down there in the bunker.
Nope.
There you go.
I didn't see him, the flowers right there.
There you go.
The staff recommends that the mayor and council authorize the city manager to execute a 3-year sole source agreement with Swarco McCain, Inc. for $30,126. The city utilizes the My City TMS, that's traffic management system, to provide centralized traffic signal management, allowing staff to monitor and address traffic operations across multiple intersections. These systems are operating along Florence, Pert, and Treckle. In addition, the city maintains an adaptive signal control system that dynamically adjusts signal timing based on real-time conditions. This system optimizes corridor flow and reduces congestion during periods of fluctuating demand. This agreement ensures continued support, monitoring, and optimization of these adaptive algorithms to sustain operational efficiency and safety. As stated in the sole source letter, Swarco McCain is the sole provider authorized to maintain and support the My City TMS software. Working directly with the developer ensures compatibility, reduces system downtime, and enables the city to leverage the manufacturer's ITS services and solution team's expertise. Swarco McCain has a long-standing partnership with the city's traffic and engineering division, which has enabled familiarity with the city's infrastructure, system configuration, and specific operational needs. No other vendor possesses equivalent access, rights, or capabilities to provide maintenance for this proprietary system. If approved, this contract would begin in February of 2026 and end in February of 2029. The total cost for the 3-year contract is $30,126. Funds are available in account number 100112199-6701. Any questions?
The actual account number, could you give that to me again?
After the meeting.
Any other questions? Oh, yeah, one.
Do you have a real one, or?
I thought that was a real one. No, real quick, I was just going to say, now you said that this right here is for Florence, Pert, and also was it Treckle?
Treckle.
Treckle.
Today,
No.
yes.
Yes, sir. That was
Well,
real.
I was going to tag on to that.
Okay.
That was the first part of my question. So we spoke earlier during the study session that we're going to looking at updating a lot of our systems on the other streets. So would this also get expanded as part of that expansion?
Thank you for asking, Councilman Bindell, and yes, as we improve the infrastructure on these corridors, the improvements that we are going to make is going to be on a corridor-by-corridor basis. Year 1, we're doing Florence and Pennell as the main corridors. Years 2 and 3, we'll be looking at Cottonwood, McCartney, Early, all the other main corridors will get the improved infrastructure, and we'll be implementing this tool on them too.
Good.
Okay. Any other questions, comments? Okay, if we can get a resolution number, please.
Resolution number 5863, a resolution of the Council of the City of Casa Grande, Arizona, accepting the sole source provider offer from Swarco McCain, Inc. for My City TMS and adaptive maintenance, authorizing expenditure of public funds and authorizing the execution of a contract.
Mayor Fitzgibbons, I move approval of resolution number 5863 as presented.
Second.
There's been a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion? Okay, if we can get a roll call vote.
Councilmember Edwards?
Yes.
Councilmember Huddleston?
Yes.
Councilmember Herman?
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem B. Dillon?
Yes.
Mayor Fitzgibbons?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Thank you. Okay, I-5. Aaron, hi there. No, I don't think it's on.
Hit that button right there. There you go. You're on.
Okay. Good evening, Mayor, Madam, and Council. Agenda item I-5 is a contract for RCI Properties Enterprise for the pool deck repair and grade installation. Staff recommends that the mayor and council authorize the city manager to award a contract with RCI Properties Enterprise LLC not to exceed $303,348 and to authorize funds in the amount of $340,000 to include city contingency up to $36,652 to complete the pool deck repair and grate installation project at Palm Island Family Aquatic Park. To procure this project, the city of Casa Grande conducted a competitive solicitation process through request for proposals. A total of 3 proposals were received from this solicitation. Following a thorough evaluation, the selection committee determined that RCI Properties Enterprise was the most responsive and responsible proposer, whose submittal represented the best overall value to the city. RCI's Properties proposal was the lowest of the 3, with a total cost for the base project of $268,419. RCI's proposal also included 3 optional recommendations, and the city has determined to include 2 of those 3 options: new depth markers that would be installed on the pool deck, and removal of all the plastic joints and replacement with a silica joint filler for an optional total of $35,019, which brings the total contract to $303,438. The scope of work for this contract encompasses 3 distinct projects. The first being pool deck drain and replacement. That's essentially all the drains that capture the water that gets dropped on the pool deck from pool patrons and filtering that out back out to the, away from the pool system. The pool deck resurfacing and coating. And then the third project being the pool gutter grate installation. The pool gutter grates are the white grates that you walk over as you go from the pool deck into the pool, essentially. RCI's Properties Enterprise provided a detailed visual timeline indicating the construction activities will occur from January to March, with substantial completion from March 27th, 2026. The project supports the City of Casa Grande's strategic plan by investing in the continued care and maintenance of critical build and public facilities. The city use of transparent, competitive procurement processes ensures fiscal responsibility while preserving valuable community assets for the enjoyment of the residents. And also, Madam Mayor and Council, I wanted to add too that there's, essentially there's 2 replacement components to our Palm Island Aquatic Facility. The first being the mechanical systems, which would be your pool pumps, your filtration systems. Those are all upgraded and replaced in 2020. This would be your first kind of structural component, which would be the pool decks that this project would cover. And then ultimately the final kind of component would be the pool shell, re-waterproofing that essentially, which staff is working on right now for a CIP project in 4-year 27 or 28. The contract amount for the scope of work shall not exceed $340,000. Funding for this project is available through the approved 4-year 26 capital improvement plans, which include project number 240009 in the amount of $27,063, CIP project number 25124 in the amount of $150,000 for aquatic upgrades. In addition, the department will be utilizing $16,000 from our operations budget and transfer $146,937 from the Velago Park basketball court CIP. And I just want to provide a little more content to the Velago Park project. You know, in September, we've been working with a contractor through Mohave Cooperative Purchasing Agreement. That contractor gave us kind of some rough estimates, about $200,000 to replace the basketball court at Velago Park. So I was hoping to have a firm cost kind of bid essentially before this meeting. Unfortunately, I don't, but we are confident that we are going to be right around that $200,000 project, essentially giving us some additional funds from that project to be able to transfer to this project. So just so a little more content on that, I want to kind of reassure that that project is still very much in the works for this year. So I guess with that, I would open up to any questions.
Any questions?
No.
Just a comment, I do appreciate the way you guys, the procurement process you guys used on this one. I do like it. I feel it's competitive and we still get the best quality, so.
Sure.
Aaron, thanks for a very good explanation of all this. I appreciate that. And also, as we learned earlier, is this pool drain's going to catch for that effluent because it's getting to be very valuable. So we want to make sure it gets back in our system, okay?
Very much.
Okay. No other questions? So if we can get a resolution number.
Resolution number 5864, a resolution of the Council of the City of Casa Grande, Arizona, accepting a proposal from RCI Properties Enterprise, LLC, for the pool deck repair and grate installation, authorizing the expenditure of public funds and authorizing execution of a contract with or purchase order to RCI Properties Enterprise, LLC, and authorizing the transfer of budget authority.
Mayor Fitzgibbons, I move to approve resolution number 5864 as presented.
Second.
There's been a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion? If we can get a roll call vote, please.
Councilmember Edwards?
Yes.
Councilmember Helston?
Yes.
Councilmember Herman?
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem B. Dillon?
Yes.
Mayor Fitzgibbons?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Thank you. Okay, back to Public Works, I-6.
Good evening, Madam Mayor and Council. Staff recommends that Mayor and City Council authorize a contract with Franklin Striping Incorporated for the installation of paint stripes and markings on roadways within the city as part of the annual pavement maintenance program for an amount not to exceed $257,821. Staff is requesting authorization to execute this project utilizing an existing contract through Maricopa County 210109-S awarded to Franklin Striping Incorporated. This contract would provide for pavement striping to various city streets within the city. On average, pavement striping is replaced every 3 to 5 years, with heavy traffic areas requiring shorter increments. The contract amount of $226,821, along with the owner's contingency of $25,000, will be paid from the streets account, annual pavement maintenance account. This fund has a current balance of $3 million, with $300 set aside for pavement striping. And with that, I'll be happy to answer any questions.
Any questions?
No.
Okay. A resolution number, please.
Resolution number 5865, a resolution of the Council of the City of Casa Grande, Arizona, accepting a proposal from Franklin Striping, Inc. for the annual payment preservation program, authorizing the expenditure of public funds and authorizing execution of a contract with or purchase order to Franklin Striping, Inc.
Mayor Fitzgibbons, I move that we approve resolution number 5865 as presented.
Second.
Okay, there's been a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Okay, if we can get a roll call vote, please.
Councilmember Edwards?
Yes.
Councilmember Helston?
Yes.
Councilmember Herman?
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem B. Dillon?
Yes.
Mayor Fitzgibbons?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Thank you. Okay, boards and commissions, J1. I don't see Regis here, but we.
She's here.
Oh, Regis!
She's behind Mike.
You're behind Mike's hat. I'm so sorry. Well, nice to have you here, Regis. Thank you for being here. So we, if we can get a motion to approve the appointment of Regis Summers to the Arts and Culture Commission.
So move.
Second. Big second.
There you go. There's been a motion and a second. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, thank you, Regis. And again, thank you for serving. I know you were on this commission for many years before, and so we just appreciate you coming back and share your expertise and vision and passion. So thank you very much. Okay, item K1. Richard.
Good evening, Mayor and city members of City Council. Tonight, staff is recommending the approval of an ordinance which authorizes the sale of lot number 7 in Phase 2 of the Donald M. Kramer Airport Industrial Park to Casa Grande Air Center, LLC, for the $156,816 per acre, contingent upon necessary approvals and compliances with the industrial park protective restrictions and planning and zoning site plan requirements, and authorize execution of all documentation by the city manager. Lot number 7 represents the last lot that the city owns in the Phase 2 of the Airport Industrial Park that is available for sale. This lot is located between Goshawk and the city's North Operations Center, immediately adjacent to this to the municipal airport, and has a through-the-fence access point that the company is planning on constructing and using to support their aviation-related business. Casa Grande Air Center is interested in purchasing this lot for the purpose of being able to build a facility for which they will conduct their airborne operations services and air tanker training programs. The facility will also include meeting space for events and a small museum featuring vintage aircraft and firefighting items. Based on the selling price of $156,816 per acre, the total estimated purchase price for this 4.601 plus or minus acres is approximately $628,832. And with that, I will answer any questions you might have.
Any questions? No? All right. Sounds like a great addition to the airport,
Yes,
though.
yes, it's a great operation, and we're happy to have them.
Right. Are they coming from another area?
No, they've been actually working out of a space that they've been leasing, but they're expanding, and they want to customize their own facility so that they can be actually do more operations and more training. So it's awesome.
Okay. Great. Thank you, Richard. Okay, if there's no other questions, if we get an ordinance number, please.
Ordinance number 3490, an ordinance of the Council of the City of Casa Grande, Arizona, authorizing the sale of real property located at Lot 7 of the Donovan M. Kramer SR Industrial Park, Phase 2 at the Casa Grande Municipal Airport, authorizing expenditure of public funds for reasonable and customary closing costs, and authorizing execution of a documentation by the city manager.
Mayor Fitzgibbons, I move approval of ordinance number 3490 as presented.
Second.
There's been a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion? If we can get a roll call vote, please.
Councilmember Edwards?
Yes.
Councilmember Huddleston?
Yes.
Councilmember Herman?
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem B. Dillon?
Yes.
Mayor Fitzgibbons?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Thank you.
Okay, public hearings here. L1. Larry, is that you? Oh, sorry, Rob.
Not a problem. Good evening,
It
Mayor
says
and
city
Council.
manager, so I'm looking over there.
Tonight, staff is requesting that the Mayor and Council approve the adoption of 2 additional fees to the consolidated fee schedule relating to the agreement between the city and Arizona Water. And by way of background, this is a topic that's come up several times over the past few months. And essentially, in summary, this agreement with Arizona Water is intended to help address issues with collection of wastewater rates, because that's something where the city has lost millions of dollars of wastewater revenues that could have otherwise been collected. And at the September 15th regular council meeting, the mayor and council approved the agreement with Arizona Water. And this is a tool that Arizona Water began offering cities more recently. It's something that the cities of Buckeye and Sedona have also began to use in the past couple of years. And it's something that the city wants to use as a tool to help address this issue. This is currently awaiting the approval of the Arizona Corporation Commission because it does require their approval. That's anticipated to come about the next 4 months is kind of the far end of that timeline that we're expecting. And as far as the specific fees for the consolidated fee schedule, there would be 2 fees that would be added if approved this evening. The first would be the disconnection fee, and that is a $100 fee every time that a residence has the water service disconnected. And the after-hours reconnection fee would be a $50 fee every time the city submits a request to have the water service disconnected at an address but the city submits it after 2 p.m. and it gets reconnected by the Arizona Water Company after 5 p.m. So say the city were to submit at 2:30 and Arizona Water were to reconnect at 4:45, then there would not be a charge in that case. But these two fees under the agreement will both be charged from Arizona Water to the city. And so the intent, by adding them to the fee schedule, would be to create a pass-through fee structure in order to help the city recover those costs, to pass those fees from Arizona Water through the city to the delinquent customer that's generating or initiating that cost, so to speak. And so this is a recommendation from staff, and I'm happy to answer any questions.
Are there any questions?
Just clarify, this is only for people who go through all the process and don't pay their bills. It's not
Correct.
like we're charging everybody this.
Correct. Yeah,
Just to be clear.
thank you, Councilmember Herman. That's something where there'll be a multiple step process of giving at least 10-day notices, both posted at the residence and also mailed. And we want to build into our process also emails and phone calls as possible, just to make sure everyone's very aware. And it's after all of that has happened and there's been no payment plan entered into or balance paid, then yes.
But there'll be multiple warnings.
Yes, correct.
Thank you.
Okay, so this is a public hearing?
Mm-hmm.
So we'll go ahead and open the public hearing if there's anyone that would like to speak on this. Okay, no one's going to speak, so we'll go ahead and close the public hearing. And if we can get a resolution number, please.
Resolution number 5867, a resolution of the Council of the City of Casa Grande, Arizona, declaring as a public record and adopting that certain document filed with the city clerk and entitled FY 2025 to 2026 Amended Consolidated Fee Schedule, effective January 15, 2026, and establishing an effective date.
Mayor Fitzgibbons, I move to approve resolution number 5867 as presented.
Second.
There's been a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion? Okay, if we can get a roll call vote, please.
Councilmember Edwards?
Yes.
Councilmember Huddleston?
Yes.
Councilmember Herman?
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Dillon?
Yes.
Mayor Fitzgibbons?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Thank you. Okay, L2. James.
Happy holidays, members of council. This item in front of you is a major general plan amendment request for approximately 353 acres near the southwest and northeast corners of Florence Boulevard and Overfield, as shown on your screen here. The request is to amend the land use that is currently applicable to the property, which is in the neighborhoods general plan category, and amend it to be within the large mixed use general plan land use category. Just a reminder for members of the public and the council, the major general plan amendment does not affect the zoning of the property. The predominant zoning of this area is urban ranch. There's just 3 acres of that 353 acre site that is zoned B2. So the zoning would not change. However, the amendment from neighborhoods to large mixed use would make the property eligible for a different zone district that it wouldn't be eligible for under the neighborhoods category, should a zone change be proposed. Within the existing general plan category of neighborhoods, it's predominantly designed for and intended for single family land use at a density of 4.5 dwelling units per acre or less. However, there are limited areas that within the neighborhoods category that does support multifamily development and commercial development. Interestingly, the urban ranch zoning isn't included as an appropriate zone district within neighborhoods, but that zone district, as I mentioned, would continue until such time a zone change was requested. As you can see, an excerpt from our general plan includes the appropriate land uses for neighborhoods and appropriate zoning categories. The request to place this 353 acres into large mixed use is to take advantage of its location just east of I-10 in an area that is showing a lot of development promise. In the large mixed-use category, it's supportive of multi-purpose mixed-use developments. It's an alternative to conventional residential, commercial, industrial developments. You have to have a minimum of 320 acres for an area to be considered within the large mixed-use category. And then there's certain rules with regard to what can be developed within it. No more than 70% of the area can be proposed for commercial uses, and no more than 50% of the area can be used industrially nor residentially. And as you can see within the large mixed-use category, it does have a broad range of land uses that are considered appropriate. It is a mixed bag. It's a unique land use category because it does support not only residential and commercial but also industrial. Because of that mixture, PAD zoning is the only appropriate zone category that can be considered for large mixed use. So that way the mixture of uses can be thoughtfully placed, as well as specific development standards to provide for compatibility, not just between the different uses within that area, but also with respect to what's surrounding that area. When taking a look at surrounding future uses, there is commercial use intended for properties to the north and west of the site, and to the south and southeast of the site is intended for single-family land use. And you could see also a little bit further to the east is designation that would support multifamily outside of this area. And so should this be changed to large mixed use, the next step for the applicant would be to propose a PAD zoning, and they have not yet submitted any type of zone change request. But just as an example of how a large mixed use would work, it would be likely that the applicant could propose an industrial use or a mix of industrial use near the prominent intersection of Overfield and Florence. That would be in a location that is furthest away from conflicting land uses. And then as part of their PAD, they could potentially propose residential of varying densities behind that, between the industrial and the less intense uses. And then there'd be the potential for commercial development as you get towards the areas that are closer to the single-family residential designated lands. And then this graphic is interesting because even though when you go east of I-10, once you clear the promenade, it's just wide open field, there's lots of entitled property out there. And this graphic shows just to what degree of entitlement exists. You have Post Ranch to the east, which is a single family area for the most part, although there is some area designated for multifamily and commercial. And then you have area with certificates of assured water supply, not only in Post Ranch, but directly to the south, 2 single-family neighborhoods. Eagle Meadows is another future single-family neighborhood. But to the north, you have Overfield Farms with a wide variety of uses. So the idea to place this in a large mixed use will serve as a hub, not just for the future land uses on the east side of I-10, but because of its proximity to I-10, a great location to attract traffic from other areas and regionally. When looking at general plan amendment criteria, it predominantly relies on conformance to the city's general plan. I do want to point out that on the east side of I-10, large mixed use is not an orphan. The Phoenix Mart areas within that land use category, as well as an area north of the promenade. So this would be the third location east of I-10 that would be placed in that large mixed use category. The criteria is described within your staff report in more detail, but essentially there's 7 general plan amendment determination criteria that has to be addressed, and staff feels that this has been appropriately responded to by the applicant. It primarily talks about how the future development that is supported by that category can be compatible with regard to existing infrastructure and resources, and we feel that this can be met and addressed. Again, this would be just the first step of the process. The next step for the applicant would be to submit for zoning. One of the largest concerns is infrastructure. I should point out that this area does not have certificates of assured water supply. However, there has been recent changes to state legislation that may potentially be an inroad to being able to get certificates of assured water supply through the Ag to Urban bill, and then also steps that Arizona Water Company are taking to become a designated water provider. So water is one piece of the puzzle, but the other thing that we would look at is transportation. Of course, with a general plan amendment, there's nothing that has to be provided for in great specific detail regarding transportation infrastructure, but at the time of site plan submittals, they would obviously have to provide traffic analysis, and we could only support a project if it's demonstrated how the roadway network can support that which is being proposed. But I do want to point out that this area being adjacent to Hacienda to the west and Overfield to the east are both designated to be arterial roadways, with ultimate future improvements to be wider and multiple travel lanes. And Courtson to the north and Selma to the south are also arterial roads with future planned interchanges with I-10. So again, when you go out east, you see a lot of agricultural land, but in terms of our future planning for that area, there is the future potential for additional opportunities for vehicular access and interaction with Interstate 10. Regarding the notification process, general plans require a 60-day notification and 2 public hearings in front of Planning Commission, as well as an opportunity to address council. As a result of those previous notification efforts and public hearings, staff has received a number of comments, and some of which has been included within your packet. At the public hearings, the concerns were primarily centered around resistance to be supportive of multifamily development, because large mixed use does support that, but it does support a number of other uses. And then at the second hearing, there was a concern not about the multifamily development, but the industrial development in terms of what traffic impact that would have to Florence Boulevard. So I do want to point out that as a large mixed use category, the next step would be to consider its subsequent planned area development. And at that time, staff as well as the decision makers could determine whether the multifamily component was appropriate. It doesn't have to have multifamily development. It's just one of the uses that is supported in large mixed use. I do want to point out that within the neighborhoods category, multifamily is also allowed, and through a series of zone changes and based on the acreage that is presented within that area, you could potentially end up with a request for 100 acres of multifamily development, not necessarily saying all of that would be approved, but it would meet the tenets of the neighborhood's general plan. Under the large mixed-use category, however, based on the rules that would have to be followed, only 88 acres, 12 acres less, could be multifamily. So it's not necessarily a situation where more land would be opened up for the potential of multifamily proposal. It would actually be a little bit less in terms of acreage. And again, infrastructure concerns would be evaluated at the time of zoning, and then more specifically at the time of site plan proposals. And then any concerns about changes to that zoning would be evaluated at that time. Once we were to receive a planned area development zone and that were to get approved, one of the concerns were, well, what's to keep someone from changing it after it got approved? Well, that's true, but any change regarding height or orientation of uses or introducing new uses would have to invoke yet another public hearing process for further evaluation. So at its November 6th meeting, Planning Commission did vote unanimously to forward to council a recommendation to approve this general plan amendment. And that concludes my presentation.
Thank you, James. Any questions? Okay, it is a public hearing. So if there's anyone that would like to speak on this, now's the time to come up. No. Okay, we'll go ahead and close the public hearing. And any further questions then? Okay, so if we can get a resolution number, please.
Resolution number 5273.41, a resolution of the Council of the City of Casa Grande, Arizona, amending the City of Casa Grande 2030 General Plan as adopted by Resolution number 5273 and as previously amended by amending the land use designation from neighborhoods to large mixed use on property generally located at the southwest and northeast corners of Florence Boulevard and Overfield Road, Casa Grande, Arizona.
Mayor Fitzgibbons, I move that we approve resolution number 5273.41 as presented.
Second.
Okay, there's been a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion? If we can get a roll call vote, please.
Mayor Fitzgibbons?
Yes.
Prior to us doing the roll call vote, I always remind you when we do a major general plan that it does change your voting requirements. So this one will require 5 votes tonight to pass.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay, Councilmember Edwards?
Yes.
Councilmember Huddleston?
Yes.
Councilmember Herman?
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem B. Dillon?
Yes.
Mayor Fitzgibbons?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Thank you. Okay, last, the reports. Bob, we'll start with you, since you've been so patient on the phone there.
Thank you, but no report, Mayor.
Okay, thank you. Okay, how about you, Anthony?
Just want to say, I want to word this the right way. In my prayer, I wanted to add something and want to be praying for the families that have been affected with the shootings and the different violence that's been going on throughout our world. Also, I believe this will be the last time we see each other before the new year. So I want to wish you all a happy holiday season and I hope you have a blessed new year. Look forward to working with you all in the new year. I also want to make mention, I know our calendars are getting full for the month of January already. Just want to make mention of a couple things coming up on, and I'll speak for Rebecca real quick. First of all, the Unity March will be on January 15th. I think this is about 20 years they've been doing this. I think Jeff Lavender did it for many, many years. She is in charge of it now. And that is, like I said, January 15th. It starts at 12 noon, and they'll walk from Lynn Cola down to Pert Park. And from there, we have a program there, about 30 minutes. Also on that day, Faith Alliance is having the big luncheon, and our mayor is the speaker at that luncheon. She'll have a busy day that day. And so just wanted to make mention of that. That's going to be at the LDS Church off of Colorado. Let's see, also on January the 19th is our annual MLK Day celebration, where we have a lot of, we're doing a day of service as well. And a lot of our students come and they help out. We have like 400 workers that'll be there. Your young group, youth commission is going to be there. We get a lot of help throughout the community, and we do a lot of different service projects throughout our community. Where we're cleaning up the alleyways. Our football team, they'll be here as well for both teams. The alleyways, we just take care of the whole corridor, carving that park. Of course, PERT will be cleaning up Florence Boulevard. Things that we'll be talking about, I guess, at the city meeting as well. So we're looking forward to a wonderful time. That starts at 10 a.m. We'll be giving away free food as well. We'll be cooking and having a hot meal, but we're also going to be giving away free food. On last year, we gave away 150 bags to whoever needed it. And so we look forward to giving back into our community and helping our community once again. And I believe that's the last one that I had.
Thank you, Anthony. And Matt.
I have to follow Anthony, but okay. Want to say thanks to all of the community members who participated and came out to the Electric Light Parade. It was amazing and wouldn't have gone off without Community Services Department, Danny and his team. Excellent job. I was in it. I got to see it. I've done it a lot of years, and it was a very smooth process. So thank you to pass that along to your staff as well, Danny. You did a great job, and the community, the floats are amazing. So you can see all those results online. And speaking of all of our construction projects, but the Florence Boulevard, I know there's a lot going on. It's progress, but maybe we could look in the future not closing down places in front of major retailers during the holiday season. There's never a good time, I realize, but maybe something we should think about not having them all at the same time. Got to go to the Police Foundation ball on Saturday night. It was a lot of fun. Rang the bell. Well, I know Larry did as well. I think Lisa has. If you haven't done it, help the Salvation Army. It's great. You see all the people. You see all the people in our community, and it's great to see how generous people in our community are. And you know, all the kids, families, everything going in and out. I did it at Walmart, was my station, so there was a lot of people there. So a lot of fun. And then last night, there was the 5th annual menorah lighting here at City Hall. You know, with everything that was going on, as Anthony mentioned, it was, you know, it was an event, and it was nice. Everyone felt safe, thanks to the police department, the city, the local Shabbat, I didn't say that right probably, but, and the community. And the rabbi that was there and Lisa, as mayor, gave a great message about spreading light. And so I'll just leave it at that. And it was really a great celebration, and it was a good turnout. So it's really neat to have that in Casa Grande, because I lived here my whole life and haven't seen that for the last 5 years. So it's pretty cool. So with that, Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah, Happy Holidays, whatever you have. But thank you. It's a great city, and have a Happy Holidays.
Thank you, ma'am.
The Electric Light Parade was a great time. It was great seeing all the floats and all the community in there, but it was even better seeing all the families and small kids and at the park and just out enjoying it. So, I mean, it's a great time. I've always enjoyed the Electric Light Parade. It's a great show, and Parks and Rec does a great job with that. That's pretty much it, other than Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays to everybody, and have a safe New Year's Eve. That's all I have.
Thank you. No, and just to comment on the Electric Light Parade, and I've already, Danny and his team, just amazing. Just it grows every year, and just the activities that were going on in the park also that afternoon, and how many people were there, it was just great to see. But not only Danny, but it's the Public Works team, our police department, our fire department, our PIO team, just everyone that came together and made it such a great family-friendly event. And thank you to our sponsors, and especially APS, for sponsoring that. And the awards, I think we'll probably be giving those awards next meeting, I would imagine, right, Danny? So, yeah, I don't know how they picked the winners, because there were so many amazing floats. So, yeah, so some good competition there. But, you know, definitely a lot going on this time of year. And, you know, it's definitely just such a great, you know, community that celebrates so much. You know, Jay Warren had a night of remembrance, and it was such a great night where they had people that lost loved ones throughout the year. And there was a good probably 300-400 people there, and it was just a really nice celebration of life for all of those lost. So I just really compliment Jay Warren for having that for those families. Salvation Army continues to do so much for our local community. We had the bell ringing kickoff dinner, which was a lot of fun with the police and fire having a competition. The fire department won, of course, so, you know, for raising more money that night. But yeah, if you haven't done the bell ringing, please do. They're always looking for bell ringers, and they're still trying to meet their fundraising goal. So Police Foundation, they do so much for the community. It was a great dinner this Saturday, raising money for children. They have their big Blue Santa distribution next, or this Saturday, where they'll be giving, I think, about 400 or 500 toys to kids throughout the what? 700 toys to community children. So that's Saturday. And just the many agencies. I don't know. I've been to that Table for All. They have just community dinners in the city. And they just want people, they just advertise on social media and have people just come out and they just feed them, you know, no fees, no anything. And so I just wanted to really thank that group as well as everyone else, you know, that's serving our community. The lighting of the menorah was really nice. Again, Matt, thank you for being there. It was great, especially in light of what's happening in the world, especially in Australia. It was good for us to show unity and, you know, inclusiveness and welcoming people of all religions in our community. So, but as far as activities with the city, the Leadership Academy is accepting applications. Those are due January 2nd. So if anyone would like to participate, please go online. Those classes or sessions start February 4th, and they're from 6 to 8:30 p.m., and it's a great program. So if you're interested, please go on, because I know it kind of fills up really fast. You know, APS had a really nice update. A few people were there. Their energy update was really interesting. So thank you for APS for coming to that. Arizona Water Company, we can continue to do work with Arizona Water Company on, of course, our ADOS. You know, we're hoping and keeping our fingers crossed we get some good news in the next week or so. But thank you for your partnership too. I was able to meet with the governor on Friday with 7 other mayors, and it was great. It was before the legislative session. She wanted to hear some of the issues that we as a city are, you know, concerned with. So we talked about revenue protection, which is the food tax, state shared revenues, transportation, housing, development, of course, talking about local control with development, blighted properties. And one of the big topics was data centers, because so many cities are mixed about where they are with data centers. We all know we need them, but there's some cities where it's just a little difficult. They don't have the land, you know, so some of the bigger cities are pushing back a little bit, but some smaller cities are a little bit more open. We all love using our phone, right, and using AI and all that stuff, so we definitely need data centers, but it's probably going to be a big topic for this upcoming legislative session. So with that, MLK, thank you for your team and everyone, all the volunteers that are putting that together. I look forward to participating at the Martin Luther King Day of Service. So again, everyone, please, you know, wish you all and your families a very Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah, and a very Happy New Year. So thanks for being here. And anything else? All right, so we'll go ahead and make a motion to adjourn.
So moved. Second.
All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Okay, did we do it? Okay. Do it.
We'll see you, Bob.
Okay, I know.
No.
Did he say something?